welcome to Dawn News English with 20 minutes. I'm Nadia Naqi with you after a long break of Eid. I hope everybody had a wonderful Eid. Eid greetings to all of you around the world, of course. We have with us Brigadier Retired Farooq Hameed. The guest with us today, we are going to be talking about something which is very important. There was a ISPR press conference yesterday, which was after, I guess, almost after the time the new chief had taken over. So it was much awaited presser from the ISPR side. At the same time, Saqib Nisar, the former Chief Justice of Pakistan, has been in the news for so many reasons. And Brigadier Retired Farooq Hameed, along with other journalists, had a chance to meet one-on-one with Saqib Nisar. So I thought that the meet that he's had, it'll be apt to have him on the show and discuss exactly what we had been looking for. Some answers that we all, are looking for from Saqib Nisar Saab. Let's see if Brigadier Saab can answer those on his behalf. Thank you so much for joining us, Brigadier Saab. First of all, let's briefly, your take on the ISPR presser yesterday.
Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. Thank you very much, Nadia Saiba, for inviting me to your show. I'm always waiting for it. The DG ISPR's press conference yesterday was long awaited. If you remember, after April 2022, because of the very peculiar and very abnormal conditions in Pakistan, the press conferences of the then DG ISPR there was a lot of bitterness, and it had the political touch and things like that. There was a very strange situation prevailing in Pakistan at that time. But I am very happy, honestly, I'm very happy in the sense that I find a semblance of normalcy, coming back to Pakistan in the sense, you remember before April 2022, the press conferences of the DGISPR were very comprehensive and people were waiting for them, good question answer session, and a lot of doubts. Things were clarified by them with respect to national security, internal security, border security, all those aspects. And the same happened yesterday. So the same DGISPR conference, I think, was long awaited, and there were some very positive points which came out, and I mentioned them in my vlog today also, but I must share them with you. First, he has very clearly, I would say, outrightly rejected that very strange and uncalled for that program that we had by two senior journalists 3-4 days ago on national television, in which they actually demoralized the state of Pakistan. They demoralized the nation by saying, attributing those words to General Bajwa last year, that there was some kind of a deal or a sellout, as Sauda, Urdu as they say, vis-a-vis Kashmir during
Bajwa's
days.
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, more shocking, that the armed forces of Pakistan and the Pakistan army were just not capable, were just not fit enough to fight a war with India. And therefore, we have no other choice but to, go and talk to them and improve our relations and, all those things, which were very, very upsetting. I personally felt very upset and angry about it as to what was the agenda, what did they want, what were they trying to project, I thought it was a fixed program, and I thought there was some vested interest who wanted that this program should go on air to suit their own agenda.
And that's what you feel. That's what you feel. There was a lot of hue and cry. Okay, so you say that the ISPR presser put rest to all those allegations, according to you, because Pakistan is ready to fight India. And we have the capacity, the ability, the resolve, and all of that, right? One thing that my take from the DG ISPR press conference was that there's so much of operational, operations going on against the terrorists, especially in Balochistan and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It made me understand that the much talked about Punjab elections to be conducted on the 14th May, according to the Supreme Court of Pakistan. It means that the armed forces are too busy and they may not be able to provide the personnel that is required during the elections.
No, I take it in another positive sense, and that is that the DGISP did talk about those intelligence-based operations going on, and we're going after the terrorists, the TTP militants in KP, and of course the Baloch rebels. But he did talk about Article 245.
Yeah.
And he gave a message
right.
that if and when asked by the federal government, the provincial government, or it implies even the Election Commission of Pakistan, to call the army in aid of civil power under Article 245 of the Constitution. In the past also, the army has been giving security cover for the election under Article 245. So my take on this is that they have indicated that since this is a would be a constitutional requirement, hence they would support a constitutional requirement. I mean, I would never even think for a minute that in case the Election Commission of Pakistan, whenever it decides, or when the date is finalized, whether it is 14th or any date after that, when they request the army, the armed forces to come in aid of civil power, to conduct election, give security cover, printing, transportation of the election material.
They will request they will request the defense ministry, which ultimately comes under the Fed government.
Yes, and I don't think the army would ever say no to it.
Okay, all right.
I don't think they'll ever say no to it.
Okay, whenever the time comes. Let's move forward now and let's talk about how was your meeting with Saqib Nisar? I mean, there are so many questions that needs to be answered. So because we have very little time, we'll try to be as crisp as possible. Is Saqib Nisar looking for some kind of place in PTI? Or has he promised some place in PTI?
First, let me admit very frankly, ever since I saw him at the, his days as the Chief Justice, and especially the last year, when he said that he's going to work full-time, and even on weekends and Sundays, he used to hold hearings in various registries in Lahore, Karachi, and he said, I'm not going to be on leave. So for me, he was more of an Awami type of Chief Justice who was really concerned about the problems of the common people. And although people have their own views about it, they say that this was not his job. But I found him very active, and that was one of the reasons that I and my like-minded media group, we said we must go and call him in Lahore because he was coming in the news also. We met him for 2 hours. Believe me, we were all very, very impressed. He talked about constitutional issues. For example, he talked about Article 68, that as per Article 68, the Parliament cannot criticize the judges. The Parliament cannot criticize the Supreme Court of Pakistan. And he was talking about
criticize means they can't pass a resolution against the decision. Okay.
Resolution, and even taking the names of judges and then discussing the conduct and things like that. So throughout those 2 hours, his main focus was on constitutional issues, on important constitutional provisions related to obviously the state of Pakistan, the governance, matters of governance, and Parliament and Supreme Court judicial relationship. So he very rarely talked about political issues. He did not want to be a party to any. Never.
What we see, what happened yesterday, the audio leaks that we heard, and to which he also replied that he was just giving a legal advice, and he has a legal firm also. So is he advising for PTI, and he has a soft corner for PTI? Is what my question is.
No, I don't see it that way.
Advisor to PTI.
I don't see it that way. In the first instance, we went to his office, which is now his law office, and he gives free advice to a lot of people who cannot afford big money for their cases, legal cases. And he told us he charges people, the rich people who come for advice. Now, as far as this particular point is concerned, you see, he is a retired judge, a retired Chief Justice. He has friends in the legal fraternity, and if those friends and his working relationships with them, if they will give him a call and seek legal advice or personal advice on the telephone, no harm. I see nothing wrong with that.
So this is not a charged legal advice. This is just a friendly legal advice.
It was just a friendly legal advice that if you want to move your case this way, well, use this provision of the Constitution, use this legal article.
Right.
Khwaja Tariq Rahim could have even come to his office and talked to him across the table in the conference room where we were also sitting. So I take it back. You see, the problem.
No, while I totally agree that he is free to give any sort of legal advice, I'm not saying that, somebody should charge him on there should be some legal action against what he said. But yeah, it seems like, he's been given legal advices, and he's been giving it very, very frequently for PTI, because there were also news that Imran Khan also, the chief of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, also seeks legal advice from the former Chief Justice Saqib Nisar.
Retired judges, any political party may approach any retired judge for a legal advice. That's absolutely legal. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
As long as he does not join the PTI or any other political party. But I want to make a point here.
No, let him join also. It doesn't really matter, because he's not a sitting judge.
No, but I asked him a very straight question when I was leaving. I said, sir, will you at any stage run for public office? Will you at any stage be a candidate for the top constitutional office in Pakistan? He said, no, I have no such intention, Brigadier Saab. And now I want
Why did you ask him this question, the top constitutional office? Because there's been a lot of hue and cry, or a lot of hearsay rather, that he has been offered by Tehreek-e-Insaf, that if they come to power, then probably Saqib Nisar would be their choice as a presidential candidate.
Okay, if that happens after a few months, again, I will not be surprised, because he is now a retired judge. He has the right, to if he's offered, and if something like this happens. So I think there's nothing.
But did he say that he doesn't want to hold any public office?
No, he said he's not interested in any public office.
Not interested. Okay, Brigadier Saab, did you ask him?
Nadia, very quickly important point. He did mention. Without naming the political party, he said, I have, during my time, three top leaders of the party, obviously it was the PMLN, who were probably disqualified because of contempt. And I pointed out to him, I said, I also remember that in your tenure, you went after the Qabza group in Lahore. And that was a very bold and a very daring action. So he said, yes, because of such action of mine, obviously then now I'm the target of all those people and their political, backers. So that he did talk about that in answer to my question.
Okay, so I want to ask, did you ask your favorite topic? What happened to the money that the National Crime Agency, the case in England regarding Malik Riaz? And you had always been asking this on national television, what happened to that money? So where did that money go? I'm sure he has an answer to that.
Yes, I talked to him about it. I said, sir, this has to be, please clarify, because I feel very agitated all the time and nobody wants to talk about this subject. He did agree that probably the money with that came, the 190 million pounds, I believe is the amount that came, was sent by the National Crime Agency to Pakistan in that famous case of the business tycoon. He said yes. I also heard that the money probably did not go in the government of Pakistan accounts. It was meant for the government, but then something went wrong in the PTI government, and if you recall, there was a lot of suspicion that Shehzad Akbar, who's turned out to be the smartest person, he's no longer nowhere to be seen. Probably he's left the country, we don't know. But he was the accountability advisor to Imran Khan. Probably the money, that 190 million pounds, was given back to Malik Riaz. No, that is
through Shehzad Akbar. You mean through Shehzad Akbar? And if Shehzad Akbar knows it, and if that is the case, then I'm sure Imran Khan knows it too.
You see, it was reported in the media that in the cabinet meeting, they had a sealed envelope in which they said that only if the court will ask us, or at a certain stage, only then will the envelope be opened. So I also believe that money, and the word is around, it went back to Malik Riaz, probably to compensate him for the 460 billion rupees fine that was done during, I believe, when Saqib Nisar was the Chief Justice. And I still remember 25 billion rupees down payment was made 2 days before the retirement of Justice Azmat, who was a member of the bench that was hearing the case. And he said, I wanted to have this money, the down payment, before I retired. He retired after 2 days. And later on, as per the Supreme Court verdict, 2.5 billion rupees every month for the next 7 years. So even in the news, I read of a report, I think it was Ansar Abbasi 2 years ago, that perhaps according to, and my calculation estimate also, we should be having 100 billion rupees plus with the Supreme Court of Pakistan. But from what I got from Saqib Nisar Sahab was, he looked demoralized, in the sense that probably I have a feeling that that case never went further, did not make any progress. Now I believe the time has come when it must be clarified, is the Supreme Court still having that big money, or because the dam fund.
How is it possible? How is it possible that Saqib Nisar Sahab, who was the Chief Justice of Pakistan, doesn't know that whether the installments were being paid, in the Supreme Court or not? Maybe he knows it, he doesn't want to tell.
I'm not sure, but he did not look very excited about it, because in my calculations should be 100 billion rupees plus with the Supreme Court right now. But nobody wants to talk about it. Why? So I leave it to your judgment.
But he did mention Shahzad Akbar, did he?
Yes, he did mention. He said, you remember all these people, and he said, I also heard that probably the money went back. From the NCA, it never went back into the government accounts. So it is that whatever is the true story is in that sealed envelope. I don't know where the sealed envelope is now, whether it's with the cabinet division, where we don't know, but it should be somewhere over there. But where I commend Saqib Nisar Sahab, believe me, I said, sir, I also donated to the dam fund. I also donated, because that was a noble cause. It was a national cause. And your initiative, still people try to, malign you for that. It's not your job, but no, you did it for the nation. You were not doing it for your own pocket. And I told him that what is the position of the dam fund? And he was very clear. You said probably it was 12 billion a few years ago, and now it is in the custody of the Supreme Court. He made a very interesting remark. He said, had we got the dam fund, the initial amount, and put it in the federal consolidated fund of the government of Pakistan, he said that money would have gone by now. But he said the money is intact. In fact, it has now swelled. It has increased from 12 billion or 13. It's now 17 billion rupees around that money. And that's the money which is now being quoted in the media also. And that's the amount which you remember. The government passed a resolution recently. They said, we want to take over the dam fund. It's about 17 billion rupees, and we must commend Saqib Nisar Sahab for that. But again, I reiterate, somebody must come out clean. We must be told the truth. What happened to that case of 460 billion rupees that was fined by the Supreme Court of Pakistan on our real estate tycoon? That remains a mystery.
Okay, so Brigadier Sahab, the current fiasco, I'd say, and the division within the judiciary, and the demand of having a full court, and also that the reservations of political parties in the government, that senior most judges are always left out from important cases. Did you get a chance to speak about all of this?
No, he did not want to get involved into that kind of judicial politics. Although he did say that whatever is happening right now is not good for the independence of the judiciary. He was strongly advocating this term, independence of the judiciary. He said such things should not have happened, and this is most unfortunate. So he was, not very happy about it.
Okay, now coming to the establishment, which has now become apolitical, but during the tenure of Saqib Nisar, of course, it was political. And having a lot of share in politics, there's a lot of Bajwa leaks that keeps on coming, either through journalists or through other people. or even through the chief of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, that's Imran Khan sir. Recently also in his interview, he had said a lot about General Bajwa. Did he mention any sort of, interventions by the then establishment?
No, as I said, he did not talk much on political related issues, on the political parties.
How boring, Brigadier Saab, that he just said that I'm not going to talk about politics.
Believe me, but he did answer my questions, and he did, he did respond very positively, at least to my questions, and did satisfy me. But overall, as I say, we were all delighted to meet him, because after all, he has been the Chief Justice of Pakistan, and he is now the focus of obviously the vested interest, vested political interest. Obviously, the PMLN is not happy with him, because it was.
Is he happy with PMLN? I mean, there are two ways to everything, right?
No, obviously, if he's being targeted, if his reputation is being tarnished, is being targeted by the PMLN, so obviously he would not be happy. And but as I said only 2 days ago in these audio leaks that we just discussed, he has said that if he's targeting more, then he's going to come out with a lot of facts, and people are not going to be happy about it.
Thank you so much, Brigadier Farooq Hameed Khan, for being with us on 20 Minutes for Dawn News English. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.